Now the next step is what? We issue that purchase order, right, to our supplier, which is Sage 50 Accounting, and the total amount of purchase order, that is around 13,300 something. Okay, so our next step is that, for example, the next day we receive call from Sage 50, and they said that you guys order 5 pieces of keyboard, 10 pieces of mouse, 15 pieces of 10 pieces of keyboard and 15 pieces of mouse. But right now we have only 2 laptops are available, right? 5 pieces of keyboards are available, right? We are not receiving the full order, we are not receiving the full invoice, we are receiving the partial order. They are giving us partial delivery, half of pieces, right? So next day we receive an invoice. Let's suppose 1122 is our invoice number, right? And we receive this invoice from our supplier, but half quantity, partial order, right? So next step is what? That we need to record an invoice. So how to record an invoice in Sage, in this QuickBooks Online Plus? You need to click on this plus icon. In the plus icon we have this suppliers. In supplier we already record this, we already issue the purchase order. So next step is what? That we are receiving the bill, right? So you need to click on this bill icon, you need to click on this bill, right? And then you need to select the supplier here, right? So the supplier is Sage 50 Accounting. So this address, the terms and condition, right, that is the bill date, right? That is the bill date, that is when you're receiving that bill, right? So let's suppose we are receiving this on today, and what is the due date of this bill? So that is what? Net, because net days are 30. So the due date is next month, 6th of January 2020, right? And our bill number is let's suppose 1122, right? And when you select this supplier here, automatically that purchase, because we have an open purchase order, so that information is coming here, right? So what I want to do, I want to add the same thing, add the same purchase order in my invoice also. So you need to click this add. When you click this add, this purchase order is added to our bill automatically. Yeah. So here I will tell you this category also. The same, we are ordering this laptop, keyboard and mouse, 5 pieces of keyboard, sorry, 5 pieces of laptop, 10 pieces of mouse, that keyboard, and 15 pieces of mouse is there, right? So let's assume it that we are receiving right now 2 pieces of the laptops and 5 pieces of keyboard and 10 pieces of mouse, right? We are not receiving the full order, we are receiving some partial quantities, right? And similarly, if we check here, that subtotal right now it is 5,350, right? That is the total amount of VAT, 5%, and that is the total amount of an invoice, 5,617.50 bills. Yeah, right? But our supplier, this Sage 50, they said along with these items, right, they are hitting us some delivery charges, right? Like a freight charges or delivery charges, shipment charges is there. For example, 50 dirham they are charging, right? So now I want to add those charges now. So for that purpose, you need to click this, drop down this category detail, and here you need to select. I need to check that if it is available. They are charging freight and delivery, right? So select this one. You can enter the amount. Let's suppose it is 50 dirham, right? And it is standard rated 5%. Yeah. and same is added to our grand total also. It will increase the bill. Clear? Yes. And then save and close. So this is how you record and invoice a bill in QuickBooks Online Plus, right? Similarly, if you want any question, okay, so if you want to check the report, I want to check now supplier balance detail, that how much we need to pay him because we already purchased, right? I want to check the ledger balance of our supplier Sage 50 accounting, right? So again, you need to go in the reports. Okay, I will open this in a new tab. Okay, we go in this reports. In reports, we have this tender, right? And now what we need to check, what we owe, what you owe, right? And we need to check this report. All other reports are there. You can check one by one all of them. But the most important report which we need to check again and again all the time is this supplier balance detail, and you can mark this star. It becomes favorite also, and this will appear at the top, right? No need to scroll it down, right? So supplier balance detail. Now the reporting date, you can sort date wise also, month wise also, year wise, quarter wise also, and we are checking this aging the current, right? And that is the ledger balance of our supplier Sage 50. That is an opening balance 50,000. Okay, and then we have a bill number 1122, that we have a partial purchase, that is 5,670. So how much we need to pay him? Right now we need to pay him 55,670. Clear? Okay, now next step is what, the very next day we receive the balance item, because we ordered 5 pieces of HP laptops, but we how much we received? 2. So let's suppose the next day we receive another invoice. That invoice number is 1150, right? So again we need to book an invoice. So you need to click on this plus icon, right? That is the bill. You need to select your supplier. The terms and condition will come, and we are receiving, let's suppose the next day, that is the due date. Bill number is 1150, and you need to add this, right? Yeah. You need to add this one. Okay, that is an open one, right? If you click here, right, it will show you, it will open the purchase order, right? But if you want to add, you can select this option also if there are like multiple purchase orders are there for this one, right? So then you can select add all, or you can just click on this single item add, because right now we have only one purchase order. Clear? So if we go down here, again they are charging 50 dirham for that delivery, right? Right? And now look here, we have different line items are here. That is the old quantity that we already received 2, right? So quantity is still open right now, it is 3, right? So you can change it here also, right? Look, that is 3 laptops, 5 that the keyboard, and 5 this one. So I'm gonna delete this, and this. So that is the balance quantity, right? Okay, now, and same if you want to enter, that is a description, uh, full order received from Sage 50 accounting. Clear? And then save and close. Standard tax is there, you can check that amount also, right? And then save and close. right? So bill number 1150 is saved. And same, if you want to check the reports, you can go here and you can refresh this report here. So now look how much we need to pay him. Two bills are added, 1122 and 1150. 1150, the total amount is 8,163. So this much amount we need to pay him, 63,833.75 fails. Any question?
No.
Clear?
Yeah.
Right? So that is how we create supplier. This is how we create purchase orders, right? And this is how we receive partial items, partial invoice, or the full order, right? So how much is the total balance? 63,833.75 fails. For example, the very next day we receive call from our supplier, this Sage 50, right? And they're asking for the payment. So let's assume it that we told him that we're gonna pay you 50,000 right now. We are not going to issue you or pay you the full amount right now because we have some fund issues, right? So we're gonna issue you 50,000 today, right? And the remaining balance we're gonna pay you at the end of the month, right? So one is partial payment and then we're gonna do a full payment, right? So how to do a partial payment now? We need to pay him 50,000, right? Again, 63 is this one. So we are paying right now 50. So we click on this plus, right? And we need to pay bills now. So click here. So you are paying through cash or bank or what, right? So right now we don't have our bank account here. So I'm gonna set up a new bank account. So add new, right? It's a bank. Let's suppose Dubai Islamic Bank, and I'm just enter that opening balance to avoid that negative entry. So Dubai Islamic Bank, we have an opening balance. Consider it that we have 100,000, and payment date when you are paying, we are paying that let's suppose on 9th of December. The very next day we are going to pay him 50,000, right? That is the reference number, that is a system generated. You can change this also. I'm not going to change this one. So how much we need to pay him? We need to pay him 50,000. So I'm gonna pay against this balance the 50,000, which was the opening balance, the last year balance, right? That was the opening balance. So this 50,000 we are paying full, right? And then against this reference number 1122, we are not going to pay. Why? The total amount is the total bill amount is 63, right? But we create that scenario that we're gonna pay 50,000. But let's suppose we are paying him right now, uh, let's suppose we're gonna pay him 60,000 right now, right? That the remaining 3,000 we're gonna pay after end of the month. Okay, so here we select this option, the balance become 50, and against this invoice we are also paying 5,670, right? So you need to check this option full because you're doing a full payment against this invoice, right? And the balance amount is now how much? It is 50,000. 50. The total amount now is 55,670, right? So how much we are paying? We need to pay him 60,000, right? So 60,000. The balance amount is how much? The balance amount is 4,330, right? So against now, you cannot, if you are paying full, then you need to check this option, right? But right now we are against this invoice, 8,000 invoice, we are paying only 4,330 to make the balance 60,000. Clear? So we are paying through this Dubai Islamic Bank. The payment date is this. That is a reference number, or you can enter that the check number also, right? And you are paying this 50,000 full, and against this invoice 1122 in full, and against this invoice we are paying partially. Clear? And then save and close, and that is the new account balance right now. Save and close, save and print. So save and close. Right, so it said that 3 bills are marked, right? So if you go here, refresh the ledger, so we paid that one invoice in full, right? So here this invoice is coming because that invoice is paid in full, so that's why it is not open now. This invoice is still open, so that's why it's coming here. But if you want to see that closed invoices and open invoices together, then you need to customize this report. So you need to click on this customize, right? And that is a report. So where you need to go, you need to go on this filter, right? In the filter you need to select here that AP paid. That is only showing unpaid invoices, the invoices which are still open, or only the paid one, or you want to see both. I want to see both. So select all and then run the report. So now it will show everything, each transactions, right? So 50,000 was the opening balance. Then we received this invoice. Then we received this invoice 1150. Then we paid the supplier Sage 50 60,000. The balance remaining is 3,833.75 films. So let's assume it that end of the month we paid the balance amount to Sage 50. So again we need to go into the payments. So click on this plus icon. We need to pay bills, right? So you will select here that the bank, and we are paying, let's assume it an end of the month, and that is our like check reference number, and we have only one, that is the open balance, the remaining balance for this invoice 1150. So you need to check this option. We are paying in full. If it is partial, you need to enter manually here the amount, right? And then save and close. And if you check the the ledger balance, refresh it, it becomes 0. Any question? Is it clear? Right? So that is a live scenario which you as an accountant you can experience when you're working in a company, right? So what are the things we done right now? We create our supplier, right? We activate the feature of purchase order, and then we created the purchase order, right? Then we issue that we receive the invoice, partial invoice, not the full, partial, and then we receive the full invoice 1150. Then we make the partial payment, and then that is a full payment because the remaining balance was 33 something, so we paid full. We are not paying partially 2,500 or something, right? Clear? So next step is what? Assume it that the next day we pay full amount to Sage 50. But then our storekeeper, he came and he said that 5 pieces of keyboard which we buy, which we receive from the last order, is not working, is broken, is damaged, right? Or the quality is not good, right? So what we need to do? We need to return that quantity to our supplier. This is what? This is our purchase return, right? So how to record this purchase return? in QuickBooks Online Plus, you need to click on this pencil, this plus icon, and this is what supplier credit. That is your credit memo, supplier credit, or your purchase return, right? So click on this option, supplier credit, and here you need to select the supplier, that is age 50. Address will come, and let's assume it that we are returning on the same date, on 31st December, right? That is at reference number 1000, right? That is the category, that is the item detail. We are returning, let's suppose, keyboard. How many pieces? 5. The rate 30, and the tax, that standard rated, this one 5%. Clear? Nothing else right now. Save and close. Clear? So this is how you need to create that supplier credit note or credit note or purchase return in QuickBooks Online Plus. And if you want to check that the supplier balance detail, the ledger, it will show you that return quantity, the amount, and it is negative 150, right? So this is a payable balance or a receivable balance. Is it a payable balance or receivable balance? You need to pay this 105 dirham, or you need to receive it from the customer, from the supplier. It's a receivable. Okay. Now we have two scenarios now. Either your company, your management, or your bosses said, okay, just call Sage 50 and tell them that just replace these 5 pieces, right? So in that case, if they replace these 5 pieces, so obviously you are receiving new 5 keyboards, right? With a new invoice, right? So you will, what you will do, you will go here and you will enter the bill again with the 5 pieces at the rate of 10. 5% is the VAT. The total will be 105 dirham. So that will be cancelled. Balance becomes 0 again. That is the scenario when you are receiving the replacement, when you are replacing the item. But for example, your boss said that we don't want to buy, we don't want to do any business from with this supplier Sage 50, because in every order 1 or 2 pieces are always damaged, 1 or 2 pieces are always missing. We need to change our supplier, tell them refund our money, right? So we are now asking for a refund, 100 dirham only. Okay, 100 dirham, 105 dirham only, right? So assume it that we are receiving a refund. If you need to receive a refund, right, in QuickBooks Online Plus, it is a bit tricky because we don't have an option in the supplier list, right? If you click here, we don't have an option here in the supplier list. We don't have an option to receive a refund, but in the customer side we do have an option of refund receipt. If you need to refund the money to your customer, so we have an option of this refund. But in the customer side, in the supplier side, we don't have an option, right? So if you are receiving a refund, you need to click on this plus icon and you need to click on this bank deposits, right? You need to click on this option, bank deposits. You are receiving money, let's suppose in cash, you're receiving on this date, right? And you're receiving from received from Sage 50 supplier. And what is the account? What is the account? It's payable. So, Sage 50 is a supplier, no? It's accounts payable, right? And you can mention here refund received, right? Payment method, that is only 100 dirham, so it is cash. You can enter any reference number, that is 105, right? No tax. Okay, and then save and close. So 105, that amount is received. So refresh the ledger, so that becomes 0 again. Here, that is a complete cycle of accounts payable accounting in QuickBooks Online Plus. Now, what you need to do at home, you need to do the customer side, same thing, no changes. If you have to make an invoice, invoice here. If you are receiving the money, yeah. If you want to make a quotations, estimates, so quotations, that is credit note, sales return. That is sales receipts. If there is a cash receipts are there, right? If the cash receipts are there, refund receipt if you're receiving a refund. These are delay credit or delayed charge are there. If you're charging delay credits are there, or if you are charging to your customers. Clear? So you need to do this, and in the last, I will we will do that the VAT report, that how you need to file the VAT, or how you need to check the VAT report in QuickBooks Online Plus. Any question related with accounts payable? No. It's good? Yeah. Okay, so see you on Monday. Okay.